Ready, Duke?
Yes, let's go.
Let's do this.
Auto sequence start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We're so glad to be back. This is The Code on 60s.net. I'm your host, GAC/George Carvey, with my wonderful guest, Duke. Say hello to my wonderful people, Duke.
What's up, people? How you doing this lovely week?
Indeed. So we actually have a very packed show, and we're coming back. Like we said, we took a short hiatus, but we're coming back stronger, better, and blacker. That's the only
Yes,
thing that's
sir.
important.
All right, the upcoming releases, and this is a big one. Kingdom Hearts 4. I actually thought this was going to be since the glacier pace of the the last Kingdom Hearts game that took what 1, 2, 3, almost 3 generations and such. It was like I thought that was going to be the thing with Kingdom Hearts 4, but no, they're coming right back up in the middle with this, which is
Listen, I have a personal disdain for Kingdom Hearts, okay? They're on my divorce list. Let me explain, okay? I was one of those people that waited like 6 years. Like, okay, when Kingdom Hearts, I was never a Kingdom Hearts fan until my best friends from high school got me into Kingdom Hearts. So then I played the whole series, every single one. So when Kingdom Hearts 3 was announced and the release date, Kingdom Hearts 3 is literally the last game I ever pre-ordered. So I literally have like disdain and stuff like that because Kingdom Hearts 3 was very, very disappointing. But I mean, I'll get Kingdom Hearts 4, but I ain't buying it day one.
Well, I honestly think Square really hurt themselves by just delaying the release. Because remember, it was Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2. I think they messed up the whole sequel thing because they had Kingdom Hearts, then they had the sequel on the GBA, then they had to get one for the PS2. Then there was like a couple one for the PSP. And it took a long while until they all had to be a part of these collections and such. It's part of the collections now, but I can see why some people are just like, frustrated at this series. And honestly, the wait was a lot, people like, it took this long and then Kingdom Hearts 3 and that was it. And now I think they probably had to rush this game. Not rush it, but actually like, okay, we had to finish Sora's story off finally and actually have a complete conclusion here instead of just having it just delayed and pretty much forgotten about like other Square games, like which a lot of people are reminded of when they looked at this trailer was Square. I think it was Final Fantasy versus 13, I believe that was
they actually integrated that back in the story in the Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC where there's something. Okay, so spoiler alerts. In Kingdom Hearts 3, there's this like ongoing joke about Venom Rex, which is basically like a toy line within Kingdom Hearts, but it's like a parallel universe type stuff, and it's all over the place. It's Square Enix, okay? If you played any Final Fantasy, you know they go off the edge like that.
Yeah, and I honestly am just all I want to know is actually a good story. That all the sort of stuff happening around it, I worry that it will eventually won't land because the gameplay's there, the graphics are there, but I think this, but if the story doesn't have a satisfying conclusion, a lot of people are going to be like, a lot of people are going to be like, hey, just it's like the Arkham, like the Batman Arkham series and such. Is that like just play like the couple games and then just don't bother with the last one, that sort of thing. A bad trilogy or a bad ending to a video game series can leave a bad taste in people's mouths. So
I actually agree with that. So wait until it's like $40. That's what I'm doing. I'm waiting until like it's $40-$30. So that's just me. All right, and next news: No More Heroes 3. It actually came out for the Switch, so originally
Yes, I
debuted on
have
the
it.
Switch.
It's fun.
So I've never actually played a No More Hero game, even though I've heard about Travis Touchdown and stuff like that. But I am very interested now that it's like I was actually gonna get it for the Switch, the first of like the trilogy. But I mean, since it's coming, if they're putting the third one, they're obviously gonna put the first two again.
Oh yeah, it's already multi-platform. But I honestly played. In fact, I still have the original first games, and I already beat them. Fun stuff. And still love playing No More Heroes 3. It was No More Heroes 3, No More Heroes 1, 2, all of them really good stuff. And I just look at that game, and I think 3 is a little bit of a disappointment because it just feels like it's something missing there, but it's not. But I think it's still a fun game to play. But I think people should get it. This is a fun series to get into. Fun series, nice to go. You have nice. The graphics are good. The play style. It was one of the most interesting Wii titles. In fact, probably one of the most interesting video game titles. At that time, and still is one of the most interesting series with Tyrus Touchdown, and just having him doing all this weird, wacky stuff and everything, and again in a gaming landscape where everyone's pretty much either a grizzled shooting guy from like World War II or just some ever Call of Duty, whatever, and just whatever thing Square Enix squirts out or whatever. It was a nice little happy like, wow, this is crazy. And it was so much more fun. And actually, the series is just this bonkers, crazy action and everything, which is very hard to replicate and such,
So what it sounds like to me is that don't get it for $60.
Oh yeah, wait till it's on sale. But yeah, overall, if you have money to get the series, highly recommend it. And
right.
Yeah.
All right, and other news. So, Square Enix actually announced during the unveiling on Unreal Engine 5 that they're making a new Tomb Raider game. So personally, I have already beat the 2013 Tomb Raider reboot, and I still have the Rise of Tomb Raider in my backlog. And I have the other one, the Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but I still haven't But I still got to finish those games. But if it's anything like them, I mean, they were okay. They were a standard third-person action adventure game that comes in now. It's like if you played Horizon, it's like every single game that came out the last generation.
Yeah, it's that type of you had to do this, but also it's like you can repair things, you can do this, that, and I played the games. They're fun, but I'm just like, I played this thing before, and in some cases it's a lot better. Insert Breath of the Wild here. But Tomb Raider, the entire series is just the reboots and everything else. I just wonder what else is there for them to really do, because the Uncharted pretty much took its energy and having that type of like fun type of treasure hunting stuff. I would like to see them go back to that, but I don't know. People want to go play that type of game anymore. Is such, they really want to go back? It's like have Lara Croft, fighting T-Rexes or fighting these weird, like having these weird treasure, tombs that she goes into, stuff like that. So I don't know if people want to play that nowadays, but if it is, I think people want to go. Like I said, like the earlier, I want to see a trailer and I want to see actual gameplay before going back to the world of Lara Croft. And hopefully she doesn't have to do this whole, oh my goodness, it's a secret organization trying to save the world. I'm like, why can't we just have a little fun tomb adventure stuff, instead of the secret organization trying to be Spectre but not.
Telling you, these games again.
Yeah.
All right. So in our next segment, we are talking about AEW. I think this is yours.
Oh yes, AEW. The game that a lot of people have been, and myself, been waiting for. They've been partnered with Ukes, the same company that have been with WWE for so long, and it was so bad when they left that 2020, W 2020 2K20 was just a complete dumpster fire, and it's the new game that supposedly hits different. While it's functional, still has a lot of glitches and all this other stuff. But here, the new AEW video game, while the graphics may not be the super realistic and such, as much as I've been looking at it and everything, it seems like it looks a lot more stable. It looks a lot more fun, and a lot of the which at the end of the day, I actually appreciate for, because you can have the greatest looking, the graphics are great, but if it causes people to phase through everything and just have people shaking like this when they doing a move or whatever, I'm like, you know what, I'll take a less graphic defined game than have that. But here, I'm just hopeful the game works on day one, because Kenny Omega and all the people behind this stuff said they talked a lot of stuff about 2K20, Final 76, man, all that stuff. They need to produce, and it's gonna look a lot of egg in their faces if they come out and it looks bad. So,
I'm thinking about the last wrestling game I played was SmackDown versus Raw on the PS2 and stuff like that. Yo, those were the days.
Yeah, but I'll go back further. No Mercy in the N64.
Or WWE Know Your Role on PS1. I know you played that one with The Rock.
Oh yeah, I played it. I played that. Also, Warzone a bit. Like I said, mostly in the N64, which is to me the perfect. You had WCW versus the World, WCW. Forgot all the WCW video games. Also, WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy. So
I was more of a PlayStation man, so I only know WWE SmackDown. That was the game.
Oh yeah, but this, like I said, AEW better. The people like this better perform, or they're gonna be hit with a lot of egg in their faces. So yeah.
All right. Next on our list, Warner Brothers is actually following their merger. They're actually more interested in making more video games. So if you don't know, Warner Brothers actually owns NetherRealm Studios, so they actually make Mortal Kombat games. That's why Rambo, The Terminator, and a lot of movie franchises that were in the classics in the 80s were in Mortal Kombat, because Warner Brothers owns NetherRealm Studios. So they are thinking of just hey, since Marvel is actually doing good with their games, why not we just
about the Avengers stuff, which not good.
I mean, the Avengers was but Guardians of the Galaxy actually did better. Spider-Man is killing it with the PS4. And what other game? The new Wolverine game that's coming out for the PS5. I heard that's gonna be sick. So DC's hey, whoa, you can't be the only game. We got a lot of properties, superhero properties that can make games.
Oh yeah, supposedly, because they have a Wonder Woman game that was announced at Game Awards last year, Gotham Knights, which I am fully hyped for. I can't wait for that. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League has been delayed till next year. I wonder though what other stuff they can do. Personally, I wish they could do more stuff with Green Lantern games. I think Green Lantern could be a really fun video game character if they want to do something like that. Let's see, Aquaman. That is Aquaman's $1 billion movie, and yet there's no video game tied to someone that character, which is weird. After that success, you expect them to okay, let's make a video game based on that type of thing or something, anything. Instead, there's nothing there, which is sad, because the last Aquaman game was a GameCube game, which was terrible, was absolutely terrible. And Suicide Squad fine, but honestly, I really wish they could do a Superman game, which unfortunately, they canceled a lot of those. They canceled too many of those Superman games. But if you looked at the whole new or earlier to see the Tomb Raider stuff and then when it was played, I mean, I saw videos of this of seeing how Superman could work in this type of gameplay and such. I'm like, man, maybe they can finally do something with Superman and such. But right now, it just seems like there's just like that type of barrier with good gameplay and Superman's power set and such. So,
here's to that, man. Here's to
hopefully they do get that fixed. So,
indeed. All right, in another segment, Streets of Rage. Oh man, this is actually my game for life. I played Streets of Rage 2 so much time. Video game movies have actually been going very well. We got Sonic the Hedgehog 2 that releasing and just video game movies in general are just doing well all around. So they're following a trend. So John Wick, the director from John Wick, is actually directing this movie. So here's the Streets of Rage being a great movie.
Oh yes, because I love the action in that series. I really would hope they go more, not just that, but maybe look more to the Raid. Because I'm like, if you watch the Raid series, both Raid 1 and 2, that to me is like, put that in America, and that's Streets of Rage. That's what I want to see. And since Sonic has been going doing all the great stuff, making over, last I checked, over $200 million worldwide. I think about 270 at last I checked. I honestly wouldn't be surprised to make a whole cinematic universe, putting Streets of Rage characters in the Sonic universe and such, and that sort of thing, which they seem to be planning with Knuckles having his own series and Sonic 3 and everything else. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do, Streets of Rage and follows that same mindset. And I don't know what else. Personally, if they continue on this mindset, here's hoping they actually do some Shinobi will get some love, or Vector Man, or
Golden Axe.
Golden Axe. Oh yes, that.
Yeah, Sega has a lot. Listen, Sega has a lot of properties. It's just that they just keep focusing on Sonic.
Yes, maybe this will be that, maybe if the movies do well, maybe like, oh, wow, maybe we should start re-releasing other things that we have. Like, like I said, new Golden Axe, at least a compilation, or Streets of Rage, stuff like that. Things like that, which people will actually like to see, instead of people thinking this Sonic is the only thing Sega has, which is not the case.
Indeed. All right. So this is our very new segment of our show called Hot Takes. Every week we're going to have a debated topic. We're going to bring somebody on. First time we're going to bring our lovely host Jay, and we're going to debate our first topic: whether big companies should focus on remakes or new IPs.
First off, I'm not lovely, all right? I'm not nothing about me lovely. I'm manly and masculine, rough.
My apologies. But in my opinion, video game companies honestly should focus on new IPs. I'm not saying I love retro games, but like the classics should stay classics. Like we shouldn't get GTA 5 like 18 times. Like this is the reason why we're getting GTA 5, because we always focus on remakes and stuff.
You know why you get GTA 5 8 times? Because y'all keep buying it. Stop buying GTA. You get the shark cards, you get the GTA Plus. Y'all keep buying all this crap. It's the gamers' fault. If all you have to do is not buy it, y'all keep buying this trash, and they make trash. That's why Red Dead Redemption, GTA, all them games play the same, and they just keep remaking them all the time because it's lazy and it's easy money. They appease the shareholders.
Of course, but
I agree with that. But I want to say this though: is that there are sometimes some titles that could be need to have a new fresh coat of paint. I look at say the Crash Insane trilogy, which is fun, or the Reignited trilogy from Spyro, and I think Medieval had a remake and such, and older titles should be brought back to like for a new audience and such. And sometimes I mean, sometimes you can't just say, okay, here's the old games and everything else, because sometimes, those old games the controls may be too archaic for some people to get into. But if you bring in, a new coat of paint, some new, better control scheme for people will love to see a remake of, like say a Spyro or something. I mean, we were talking about earlier about a Streets of Rage or something. I mean, Streets of Rage would be, the original games are fun, but I think a new coat of paint would actually be a lot fun for someone like Streets of Rage and stuff like that. But
as long as it has nothing to do with Sega, because Sega would have Axel turn it into a werewolf or something stupid like that.
Oh, that's Alter Beast.
No, I'm talking about what they did with Sonic.
Yeah, but that's the thing about it. It's that like if you keep remaking stuff, it's like you never give the new stuff time to breathe. You're just reliving in a circle forever. Thus, the whole point of buying GTA 6, like you're buying GTA 5 like 8 times until GTA 6, and the GTA 6 is just GTA 5.5. It's like
I think there's 2 points there. So like George's point is like they're rehashing the same thing over and over again, and then there's the remakes argument. I think in the remakes argument, I get it. Like sometimes there's some games like Dead Space remake. I'm happy to see that Dead Space is getting some love again. You know what I'm saying? They put some flowers on Dead Space name after pissing on it with Dead Space 3 and basically taking away everything we loved about Dead Space, right? A game like Fable, that would be dope to see Fable remade with these graphics, with that PS5 and that super duper hard drive thing they got going in there. That makes it the solid state drive and the NVMe, whatever they got going on. It'd be cool to see Fable re-represented, but I think that it shouldn't. You got to keep pushing gaming forward and not go for like Call of Duties where they're releasing the same thing year after year. It's dead near Madden and the new jerseys every year on Call of Duty and GTA 5. But once again, it's gamers' fault. Stop buying this trash these developers pulling out. They put out live service games. It's just trash. Stop supporting this garbage.
Well, I mean, like you said, like remakes, it depends on the remake. Some games are just fine alone. Like, listen, Dead Space 1, I still play it to this day. I still play like Sonic Adventure 1. And when I try to tell people like, yo, this game is still good, people are like, and it's like, some games are just fine the way they are. I understand your argument. Like there's some games that do definitely need a fresh coat of paint. Like Metal Gear Solid is one of the games I would love to see remade, like the whole thing in like the Fox engine.
See, but Duke, this type of dude, Duke wants them to remake everything. He loves Sonic Mania.
Everything.
Yeah. You wanted Sonic Mania. You wanted them to come out with a brand new Sonic that was just like Sonic 2.
Honestly,
I'm
yes,
like, no,
do,
make something new.
The problem is that I say Sonic Mania is pretty much a love letter to the old stuff, but also there's some new stuff in there. I think you can do new things, and I think there should be new stuff to be made. There should be new IPs, new ideas, and new things should be put out there. But I don't think you just like with Sega or heck even Nintendo or some of these video game developers stuff like that. They just take IPs and just leave them out to rust or whatever. I mean that would we don't have no. Last time we had when's the last time you had a Star Fox game or last time you had a F-Zero game. Or something like, say, Alter Beast or Streets of Rage or anything else. These are like good IPs that can sell games, but they're just forgotten about. So I'm just like, you can do remakes, but bring those old IPs back in, but also bring in some new stuff as well.
But sometimes the IP is of its time. Because they tried that with Crash 4, and Crash 4 didn't do as well as the Crash remakes because people were nostalgic to the Crash remake. People looked at Crash 4 and was like, and then you could also say the same thing about Shenmue 3, where people remember the Dreamcast everybody remembers Shenmue, that the first open world game. But when you brought it to like the new age, it's like it's of its time. Like some things are just of its time. Like you just got to leave it alone. Like,
and when you look at
I think the reason why Shenmue 3 didn't work is because they had, I think it was not just crowdfunding, but I think they just were so everything was just it felt like a game that should have came out like 10 years ago. That was the problem with Shenmue 3. A game
there you go. Some games are for its time. Like some games feel like 2012. Like a game, like certain games just feel like the age and the time that they were made, and it's like.
Well, the problem is, homie was like like the old rapper that comes out with the same type of album from 1980s. Like he needed to remake. It was like on a shoestring budget, and then I think he had a little Peter Molyneux going on. You guys remember Peter Molyneux? He would always come up with the grandest thing. He like, oh, you gonna play the new Fable? You gonna chop the tree down? You come back 3 days later, the tree grew. None of that was in the games. So I kind of think that homeboy was kind of putting a little too much on what he was going to be able to do, and he just came out with Shenmue again, and it just you got to see the age on it. But real quick, dude, don't put any ideas in Sega's mind. Don't tell them to remake Streets of Rage or any of them. They don't need to ruin my childhood anymore. Let's see them launch Sonic Frontiers. Let's see if they can do some type of justice to Sonic in the new age. Instead of remaking this solid, you want them to remake Game Gear games, okay? We need to see a 3D Sonic. Let's evolve it past Sonic Adventure. No more werewolves, no more boost. I want spin dash. Man, I don't want no toddler games. Give me a real Sonic game, and then we could talk about Streets of Rage and Altered Beast. Power up.
All right.
You know about that. Power up. That's what I was doing at the gym today. I powered up. Any other thoughts on remakes and versus new IPs?
No, we got our stuff.
No, I think we got it.
So we finished up with Duke wanting a sequel to Sonic Mania, and George wants new IPs.
Indeed.
All right. See y'all later. I'm out of here.
All right.
That was fun.
That was. And next week will be even better. All right. So in our gaming recommendations,
I believe it was. You said about.
Well, first we're gonna do the highlight of the week. My apologies. Highlight of the week. It's some of my gameplay from Street Fighter Alpha 3. Oh, my best character, my showcase.
Cody
from Final Fight, actually one of the people that was actually in Final Fight was actually supposed to rival Streets of Rage, as you were saying. So
yep, but yeah. So what is Cody's like deal? Why is he a prisoner
in a jumpsuit?
Yeah.
So his big deal is that in this part of the story, it's after Final Fight. So he went to jail because he was just bored of being a hero. So he became kind of a sociopath, and so he just fights for fun, and that's why he went to jail. So I know it's kind of messed up, right? But still, it's like
that's what he does. He couldn't just go to some underground tournaments and everything. He just went crazy and just locked himself up.
Indeed, like he just started going crazy, and in this game it's supposed to be his redemption arc. So he's just fighting for fun. That's his main shtick.
And 1, 2, 3, and 4, and there he goes. That is nice.
There we go. Yes, I actually remember doing. You know what's so funny? I've actually tried that combo like 3 times. Like after I've done that, I literally tried it to do it again like 3 more times. But
by the way, poor Sagat, man. By the way, that scar that pretty much no one really knows what happened in the whole lore of like Street Fighter. They're like, oh, what happened? Oh, Ryu gave him that scar in the first Street Fighter tournament, and it just like he just shows up after the second one. So,
oh yes, actually, because he's actually in Street Fighter 1, and if you do a Shoryuken and finish him, he actually gets the scar.
Oh yeah, and but then no one cared about Street Fighter 1. That's the thing. No one cares. And then Street Fighter 2 came along, and it's thousands and thousands of sequels and everything else, which I guarantee you by the time I finish this sentence, there's another Street Fighter sequel somewhere out there. Someone's already made it.
I'm gonna still play it. So on our next segment, we're actually doing the recommendations, which is
Mafia
trilogy.
The Mafia trilogy.
I would heavily recommend the whole Mafia trilogy, the first, second, and third one. I played a lot of the second one, and I beat it like twice or even 3 times. And I definitely like. It's a very it takes like a good weekend just to beat the whole game. Even though the third one, the first 2 focus on Italians, and the last one focus on a black guy. That's what you got to start playing. Even though I said that like the third one is more like open worldy questies,
it was too much stuff. Like it was it was pretty much like, hey everyone, just put all the stuff that was like people hated from Mafia 2. But this that was the issue, is that there was so much stuff you had to do. And when I played it, Mafia 1 and 2, I played Mafia 3. And it's just, it's too, I was overwhelmed. That was the problem. It's just overwhelmed with stuff. And I want to go back and look at Mafia 1 and 2, because it seems like there were just more story and more interesting things that connected with the characters and such. It was an anti-version of GTA. I actually respected
Mafia's 2 and 3 story more than the gameplay. Like the gameplay was like a little standard, but it was like Mafia 2 felt like a Sopranos or like a Godfather episode. Like basically, like as someone told me, if you watch The Godfather, The Sopranos, The Goodfellas, all those Mafia movies into one, you'll basically get Mafia 2, right? Every single like cliche they did about Mafia 2, it was just every single Mafia thing was in Mafia 2. Like every Mafia cliche that was in Mafia 2. But Mafia 3 bucked the trend where it featured a black protagonist, and it really focused on the racism axis. Like you have literally people calling you the N-word. They don't care. They have Klan rallies. They really like shy you away, and like you have to kill some rednecks, some racist motherfucker. Excuse my language, but you have to kill some racist people. And
it's very you go after, and best part is like you could actually toss some people in the swamps and such, and have the gators take them out, which is I wish more games had that. And that's why I like on Mafia. It was something other than like I said GTA, the grittiness of New York or the sunshining of LA. This was actually somewhere in the South, deep South, where swamps, racism, all this type of stuff was there.
And it was literally 1960s, like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, like Jim Crow, like they literally have colored and whites only signs. So they're really trying to get into the ambience of like, yo, like shit's real.
Oh yeah, that type of stuff, which is amazing, and wish more game developers took that type of chance of actually looking into the past of seeing in this country and such, instead of just we're not going to really talk about that and that type of thing. Just go full blazing in that type of stuff. So it's more respectful of stuff like that. That's just me.
Of course, but that's our show.
Thanks again for watching. Thanks for being here. Remember to click like and subscribe, and tell everybody who knows, friends, enemies, and people you don't know. Talk about the code.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for spending your time. We truly appreciate everything you do. Have a wonderful day, and be one. Stay black.